It is day 4 of 20 minutes of vlogging every single day. No filters, no edit. What happens, happens. And today we had a wild day. I'm going to be talking a little bit today about what we did in Portugal today. And what we did was we went to a castle. Well, we actually went to 2 castles. Alex, how'd you feel about going to the castle?
They were very nice. I enjoyed them. It's cool to go see something that's from the 11th and 10th century. Just like puts the planet onto some kind of perspective, you know?
Yeah, when we're from North America, so for us to see something so old just feels almost weird. You know, it's different. It just doesn't feel right, or at least our minds can't fathom it. And you have people that live here that literally wake up to it every single day, get to see a castle, and they probably get like how everybody does when you're around something so much. You get desensitized to it, and you forget that you live next to a castle. It's like being in a storybook. Everly, how'd you feel about it? The castle. Good? Yeah, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part is castle.
Her favorite part was the castle. My favorite part was actually dancing to Frozen at the castle. Remember that? We were so fortunate to be at this castle, and there was literally nobody there. We had it to ourselves, and there was like a big courtyard area, and we turned on Frozen music and we danced around with Everly. It's going to be so cute in the video when you guys get to see that. So a couple of goals for this channel we need to get monetized so that way we can...
20 minutes starts now. Maybe I'll do 18.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's my one job.
It is 2 minutes in, so 18's good.
Okay.
All right. That was her one job, was to turn on the clock.
I have also the job of feeding the snacks. I'm also feeding snacks. It's very distracting, so I'm doing my best, guys.
You're doing great, babe. You're doing great. Right now, we are in Portugal, as you know, from when I was talking about the castles. I think I said it. I think I mentioned it.
Yeah.
But if I didn't, we're in Portugal, and we're at, right now, a trusted house sitter's homestay, and we are enjoying their beautiful backyard because the sun has been out all day long. It's been about 18 to 20 degrees all day, and in the sun, it feels nice and warm. I think I might have a little bit of a sunburn. Alex, what do you think? Do I get a sunburn?
Actually, I was noticing your nose has a lot more freckles than it normally does.
Ooh,
So
you're just on the freckles today, I feel like.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't worn a skirt in a while, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of freckles on my legs. I totally forgot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always have a lot of freckles on my nose. Actually, the thighs is the spot where I don't have a lot of freckles.
That's because you wear long pants.
I never expose my thighs to the sun.
Yeah, you're not wearing those Speedos.
Yeah, I'm not wearing your bathing suit.
He hasn't gone European cut yet.
Did you hear me?
Your bathing
I'm not
suit?
wearing your bathing suit.
If you guys saw that, it was funny. But then some people didn't think it was funny, which happens sometimes.
Some people didn't like it on YouTube per se, but all the other platforms, they seem to be laughing quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like... I don't know why people get sensitive about stuff. It's just funny. Like we've been making content since 2019, and so we've made a lot of different stuff.
Oh, I think that's the reason why you have to have like almost like this is no filter, unedited, kind of be like that when you're making content. Making content is one of the things where people could easily get under your skin if you really listen to all the noise. I think the one thing is you have to block out the noise and do what you think is fun. Do what you think is funny. Like if you aren't able to be yourself, then making content is a lot harder, in my opinion. And sometimes it's hard to be yourself on camera. And yeah, I'm finding that the more that I try to be myself, the better I get.
Well, so you were, before I cut you off, talking about your goals for this.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Frank said that he's noticed is that doing this 20 minutes a day is actually helping him get more comfortable talking to the camera.
So that's one of my goals. Another goal, the monetization. In order to be able to donate to different organizations, we have to get monetized. So that way when we go live on the channel, we can get super chats and super thank yous. And all the donations are going to go directly to what I'm going to do is do a poll. And that poll is going to have a few different organizations. And then once a month, we'll donate whatever money comes in via donations to those charities. So that way we're giving back. And I think that's one of my major goals in life is to give back as much as possible. Because one, it's helping somebody. You're just doing the right thing by donating when you can. And two, yeah, I want to do good things. I want to do good deeds. It's just part of who I am. And I think it builds community. It allows you to have people that are like-minded and people that aren't so maybe uptight, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. But like charity for me is like, I'll tell you a little story about myself. Might get uncomfortable for me, but as a kid growing up, I had from 1 to 5 or 0 to 5, life was great. My family was doing pretty well. And then my dad had a back injury. He got laid off. There was, a lot of stuff going on, some drug stuff for him and alcohol stuff. And life got a little bit harder. Life got turned upside down, like they say in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And my family split up when they lost their house in Brooklyn. And I lived with my step-grandmother, with my mom. My brother lived with my grandmother, and my sister lived with my aunt. And my dad moved to Florida. And he was on his way to try to start a new life, get away from the drugs. And maybe getting away from New York was one of those things that would get him away from that stuff. And so for a year, he was gone. And I actually wished on my birthday that he would come back, or for my birthday, he would come back and tell me that we were a family again. That's the only thing I wanted. And I know there's lots of other kids out there that feel the same way. Fortunately for me, at like 5 o'clock in the morning, that morning of my birthday, my dad came home and he woke me up and he told me we were going to be a family again. It was like, I don't know how he knew that. I don't know how, God, whatever you believe in, for me, it's God. And maybe that was the message, that was sent to him via the consciousness. And yeah, it was just wonderful. It was beautiful to get that from him. And I know there's a lot of kids that wish for that and they don't get that. So there'll be an opportunity at some point in time to be able to donate to families like that are in need. And if we could do that, we will. And I love the idea of donating to animals as well, because like a lot of people say, humans could ultimately help themselves, but animals cannot for the most part. So we'll probably put a couple of these types of charities up in the poll before the end of the month if we get any donations, if we become monetized. So share this to people so that way we can become monetized, so that way we could share as much donations as we possibly can to organizations out there. And if we're unable to do that this month, it will roll into next month, So not a ton of pressure on you, but more pressure on me, if anything, to make sure that I'm here committing to vlogging every single day for 20 minutes. But going back to where we are in Portugal, we're spending 40 days in Portugal, me, Alex, and Everly, and we're traveling around the whole country. If you guys don't know this about us, Alex and I travel for a living. We make YouTube videos on our main channel, F&A Life, and we've been making van life videos, how-to videos, just traveling all over the place. We've traveled all of North America, all the way down to Panama. So we've done Central America as well. We've done the UK for 45 days. We've been all the way up to Alaska, and a bunch of Canada too as well. And right now we live in Canada, so it's the easiest place for us to travel through and check out. And we made it a goal for us to be able to bring Everly to hopefully 10 different countries by the time she's 5. And before we made that goal, we already had her to like 6 or 7 different countries, and we're not counting those. So it's 10 new total countries. And this is her second one outside of Canada. So we have some lofty goals, but that's okay. Lofty goals are good. It keeps you straight. It keeps you on task. It keeps you going. And the reason why I started this is because I felt like I was falling off task a little bit. And this would make me commit to something. And like I said in the first video, I think I have some ADHD and I can't really commit because of that. And this is going to change my life, I think. So I want to change my life and I want you guys to change your life with it. We've already had some commenters comment what they're going through. And one of them actually already commented back to me saying, thank you so much. I'm already on day 3 now of reading the Bible and getting all the way through that. So it's really cool to see somebody already acting on this commitment issue. And so just seeing that, I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. Thank you so much for telling me about that and joining me in this endeavor. Alex, what do you want to get out of traveling through Portugal? Let me come over to you.
Oh, Everly's trying to take her shirt off.
Everly, keep your shirt off. Keep your shirt on. What do you want to get out of Portugal?
What do I want to get out of Portugal?
Shirt on,
so
please.
Distracted. I feel like the reason that we wanted to come here was because the weather is a lot nicer than it was back home. I kept saying we're going to leave Canada in the winter and come back in the spring, which is my ultimate
It's okay.
goal.
She's not on the camera.
I know, it's just like very distracting. I love experiencing new foods, new places, new views. I think for me, the biggest like challenge is always like the planning of it.
Yes.
Like I'm much more of like Frank's the feelings guy.
Yeah.
I'm the logistics gal.
Mhm.
And so for me, the fun part is like organizing, like where are we going when, booking the hotel, making sure the dates are right. How are we going to get from A to B? What are we going to do when we get there? What are the restaurants we want to go to? And that's like fun for me
Yeah.
to like find these different things for us to do in new places.
Which I absolutely love because that's not fun for me. So Alex doing that takes a huge relief off my shoulders. So I'm so thankful for you for that. But ultimately, what do you think you want to get out of it?
Just seeing a new place.
Yeah.
Like just exploring a new place, learning about a new culture. I think it's been really cool. Like even just in the little bit that we've learned so far about the different castles and the way that Portugal has changed over the years. Like I think we take for granted in our home countries.
Please let go of that because you're going to move the camera too much. Thank you. I had to pull that away so that way she can't grab it.
Like I think I learn more from making YouTube videos in new places than I do just like in my daily life.
Speaking of that, that's funny that you say that because one time we were actually in a what's it called? A trivia competition. And it was the first trivia competition that we ever been in. And we also won it. But here's the reason why. We went on a travel through Ontario. And because of that travel, Alex was like researching a bunch of stuff. And she knew 5 or 6 different answers.
The last category was Ontario geography. And it was literally all of the things that I had researched for the YouTube video. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's the answer. And people like our team was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. I literally just like researched this 2 weeks ago.
And we quite literally won the competition because of Alex's knowledge from the vlogs.
And so, we won Frankie's favorite thing.
Pizza! Yeah, and the place where we won the pizza from is actually great pizza in the area that we live. So I was really happy about that. I'm going to try to keep her out of this so because Everly's basically taken off all of her clothes due to the fact that she's eating some yogurt. But I'm going to go down here to the pool area and we'll go talk down there. Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing as Alex about travel is like getting to know that culture, the people, and just seeing like the difference between this country and some other countries. What I find really interesting is like the driving here was really cool so far. We rented a car and I've been able to drive around and I've only stalled the vehicle once, even though I don't really drive standards often. So this is kind of like a new experience for me. But we made a video about driving around Portugal. And during that video, on the very last clip of the video, I stalled the vehicle. So it's like, you gotta be kidding me. But the roads are crazy tight when you get into like the little city areas where they have like the castles and stuff. And there's some pinpoint turns that I'm like, how do you make this turn? But when you're here, you live here, you get really good at it. And driving a standard is just a standard part of life here. So for the people here, they're just used to it. And driving an automatic would be like a luxury, I guess. I kind of miss my automatic at this point, but I've also been enjoying the experience of having to drive the standard. Now, what I think is also really cool about here is as we drove up the road over here, we actually ran into some like ruins of some like really, really old buildings that were just around the corner up here. And just to see how small the houses were in height, people really just had what they needed and not much more. and you could tell by how small the houses were. And maybe they had, one room that fit all the people and one extra bedroom. Who knows? But there wasn't a lot of space in the houses that they built, because if you had to build everything by hand and with brick by brick, you're laying everything, it would take a really long time. So I think they built smaller houses to, because they were going to be outside more often, tending to the land, tending to the animals that they had, and so on and so forth. And so as you're driving around this area, we're seeing sheep and goat and like all different types of livestock. Actually, particularly in the area we're in right now, supposedly you could apply for goats and the government will like pay for the goats in the area because they want more goats out here. And the thing about the goats is they'll graze and they'll eat everything. And there's tons of blackberry bush here, which are a pain in the butt to pull, and goats will eat that. So not a bad idea to have a pet like that out here. It's just keeping them fenced in is the hardest part, or keeping them in your area is the hardest part. But yeah, I mean, going through Portugal has been a really cool experience, and we have at least 30 more days. I think 33 more days here in Portugal. So I'm looking forward to seeing different aspects of it. Another cool thing about the driving in this area is as you're driving, like within a 3-hour radius, there's probably about 10 different castles. So there's like an unlimited amount of castles to go explore if that's something you're into. I find it to be mind-blowing whenever I walk into something like that. It just takes me back thinking like the people were probably wearing like these gowns and, different style clothes, and, they have like a little ball or like, a community area where everybody comes to see the play, that's happened tonight, or the music that would be happening tonight. And some of them are from like the medieval times area. So there would probably be some type of gory stuff happening too, and it just makes your mind wander when it comes to what was happening at that time compared to what happens today. And I know that things feel a little bit crazy sometimes in today's world, but like realistically, we are so fortunate to live in the time that we live in. The ability to come online, shoot a video, make money from that, also meet people through it, like almost immediately. If you wanted to reach out to people and say, this is who I am, yeah, I think we would be awesome friends. Like you could do that today. Back then, you would actually have to meet them in person to really get to know somebody. Yeah, sure, there was like pen pal and stuff, but imagine how long those letters took to get to people. Do you think you would have had a pen pal? I don't know if I would even been literate in the sense of being able to write. I struggle with that today, and I do a much better job than I used to when I was younger. But like learning to write was like a privilege back then. You were probably somebody with some stature or some money if you were able to read and write. Where like today, it's basically everybody gets that opportunity. For the most part, there's definitely some people out there that can't or don't get that opportunity. Don't get me wrong. But for the most part, majority of people get that. And like even here in Europe, there's like the people in Portugal speak 7 different languages half the time because there's so many other cultures tight knit in this area that come and visit. And Lisbon and Porto and like these big cities, they get so much influx of different languages that they speak so many different languages. So I've heard French, I've heard Italian, I've heard Portuguese, sorry, not Brazilian because that is Portuguese, different dialect, but Portuguese, Spanish. Like if you could speak Spanish, you could understand and speak a fair amount of Portuguese. Same with Italian. So like Spanish is a really good language to learn. If you're in school and you're trying to learn something new, Spanish, pick it up. It's something that I wish I would have picked up when I was a bit younger. Language skills are incredible, and I wish I had more of them. I think I'm going to do 2 things during this 365 days. I think I'm going to try to learn Spanish, and I'm going to start writing down some of my thoughts after this, so that way we could get some clarity going into the next day of maybe what we talked about.
Time's up.
Oh, look at that. Guys, it's been 20 minutes. Thank you so much for coming. It's been 20 minutes. Thank you so much for coming.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.